How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Bodacious Rant with Burn and Rye. Today we're talking about another sequel, which I know everybody's sick of sequels and all that stuff these days, but this is actually one of the few good ones for the most part. And we are talking about Wicked for Good, the sequel to Wicked last year. The adaptation of the world-famous play and novel. Directed by John Chu, starring Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande again. Which I forgot that the last one came out literally last year, because I was thinking to myself, like, is it like a Harry Potter part 2, like part 1, part 2 situation where we get the first one year and then we get the other one? And I remembered, so it's all good. This is a non-spoiler review, so we're not going to get super into it or ruin it for everybody. So if you did like the video, or you just like watching us every week, feel free to give us your thumbs up to show your support, ring the bell for notifications, and of course subscribe, which we appreciate you all for. Thank you so much. So again, I've never seen the play or read the book, so this was, again, shot in the dark for me for the most part, and Burn just confirmed that as well. To reminder of what happened, essentially this takes place right after the first one, where Ariana Grande is kind of, her character has taken role of like the good wizard, or the good witch, essentially, Glinda, in Oz, and then oh my god, I can't. Elphaba. Yeah. Elphaba, thank you. I was gonna say Euphoria or Euphoria, and I'm like, that doesn't sound right. But Elphaba, played by Cynthia Erivo, has secured her position as the Wicked Witch of the West, even though she's not deemed that. And just watching it, the more I thought about it, I was like, I really do appreciate what Wicked has done. Because again, I've never seen the play. I know it's really popular, and if I had the chance, I probably would go see it live at least once. But I like that it's a nice different take from the Wizard of Oz story. Like, you have the old-fashioned movie, which is still one of the best movies of all time. It's a pure classic through and through. But I like that this is a different, like, modern, like a different side of it in a modern take. So, and I really liked last year's. I think it was in my top 10, or at least up there. I don't quite remember. But it's just one of those few musicals. I was like, I respect the hell out of this movie, not only production-wise, but just purely on the talents of Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande, which I was like, holy shit, they can sing. But this one, I felt like it's good. It just didn't have that same pizzazz, but that usually kind of happens with closing chapters majority of the time, or at least half the time. Bern, what did you think about this one? How'd you feel about it?
Yeah, just to reiterate, where I'm coming from on this. Like you, I haven't seen the play or read the novel, but I'm a huge fan of the original movie, the original Wizard of Oz movie. It's, like you mentioned, it is a classic, and it is one of those movies that, as a kid growing up, I wore out the VHS tape, because it's just one of those things that made me love movies from a very young age. So that holds a special place in my heart. And I was just blown away by last year's the first part of this two-parter. I thought that John M. Chu and the rest of the crew just really did a great job of capturing that same magic in this modern era. With the effects and all the tools and resources we have at our disposal nowadays. It was like a amazing blockbuster musical of the likes of which we rarely get nowadays, and I remember just walking out of the theater from the first part just thinking, man, they don't really make them like this anymore, and it was really good. So I was very much looking forward to this one, and I think for the most part, the things that movie got right, this one does as well. I think in terms of the visuals of it all, it doesn't miss a beat. I think that the visuals of this are great when it comes to the special effects, to the set designs, the costumes, just the different set dressings that they do make this world feel really unique, and they pay homage to the things from the original movie, and they have like new spins of their own, and it almost makes it its own. Like you said, it's a twist on the original, and then that's where this movie kind of sets itself apart from the last one, where by the end of the last movie, you can kind of stop there and treat it as a prequel to the original Wizard of Oz movie, and it would work just almost seamlessly like that. Where this one differs is that it sort of covers the same territory of that original movie, and like you said, gives a whole new like perspective on it. So I think that's where the issues kind of sort of come up, in my opinion. I think in trying not to step on the toes of the original, there are certain moments within the plot and for the characters that feel sort of missing. It seems like they try to go out of their way to not sort of do anything that would change too much of the original story. But I think in doing that, it sort of shortchanges the story that they are telling. And there were moments in here where it felt like motivations and character choices kind of felt like there was like a beat there that was missing because they didn't want to cover like a similar scene to the original movies. So that's where I feel like the hiccups lie in this one in terms of the script, where we're missing these sort of these pivotal moments that lead to the characters making the choices that they do. But the way it is now, it feels a little bit choppy, so it doesn't feel as seamless as the first movie did, where we can see where the characters start and where their journey takes them by the end of that one. This movie, it covering sort of the consequences of those actions, not getting the full scope of everything that's going on all the time because of them not wanting to step on the toes of the original movie. It sort of left me wanting a little bit more in terms of the character moments here, and that was something that left me a little bit disappointed on that end.
Yeah, that's exactly how I would say I felt about it. Is that I, and honestly, I think they could have done more with the characters they had from the original film because, like, I mean, it's in the trailer, so if I'm spoiling this for you, I apologize. But the main team from the original Wizard of Oz, like Dorothy, Tin Man, Scarecrow, and the Cowardly Lion, they are in there, and basically at some point in the film, I felt like it was lacking that we didn't get more of them in it. Because like I mean, again, if you haven't seen The Wizard of Oz, you definitely should. So we kind of know what they're going with and their motivations. But I feel like it would have been a little bit more. I think we could have had a little bit more fleshing out with what this version of Dorothy was and the Cowardly Lion and those guys and stuff. Just a couple more snippets. I'm not expecting another film within itself to be done, but I feel like by taking some of those elements out, not like really having much dialogue and stuff, the last half, or at least the last half, really felt really rushed, and it just didn't have that payoff that I was really hoping it would, like the first one did. The first one, yeah, Byrne put it perfectly that we got to see their motivations and how they got to where they got. And this one was just, it filled in the void a little bit more, but at the same time, I think it could have, it shortchanged itself. So with all that being said, I really like this one, but I feel like because it's missing that, I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5. It's just missing that same flair and that same magic that the last one had. And I honestly think the musical numbers, at least for the last one, felt better for me. These ones I just felt like they were good, very well done. They didn't have that same flair, and it felt more by the numbers kind of songs, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean that's totally fair. I feel similarly where the musical numbers in the first half of in this whole story. I mean, part one, those were far more better, and there were some that are so like iconic that even me as someone who's not like in the musicals scene knows or has heard of those songs. So I think definitely the first part had a lot of the more like broad numbers that people are more aware of, I think. And this one, I can't say that there was any that I was familiar with. But even then, I think John M. Chu still does a pretty good job of directing the musical sequences to make them good. I feel like his direction and the cinematography and sort of the choreography of the scenes are the highlights rather than the songs themselves, which wasn't the case in the first part. I thought that the first part had the music was very very good. And this one, like you said, it was serviceable. It served the plot and the characters, and them singing their feelings basically. But yeah, it didn't have that punch that the first part did. So that was a little bit disappointing. On top of the other things that I mentioned, but as as a story as a whole, I think this is a really cool spin on the original Wizard of Oz story, and giving us a new perspective at all. Like Ryan mentioned in the beginning, the performances by Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande still very very good. They feel like they were made for these roles. I had a lot of fun with Jeff Goldblum in this one. I think does a really good job of capturing this version of the wizard, who's a little bit more of a snake oil salesman, I'll say. So that was a lot of fun, and like I said, all the other pageantry of the movie and the flair is all there. But because that emotional core isn't there as much as was in the first one, it is a little bit of a disappointment on that end. But if you're still looking for a big blockbuster musical spectacle, I think you'll still be entertained by this, and I think fans of the play itself will walk away from this one having enjoyed it. But for me, this one is also going to be a 3 out of 5. I wasn't as excellent as the first one. I believe that was also in my top 10 last year. I don't think this one will quite get there, but I still had a decently fun time with this one.
Yeah, like I said, it's not bad in any way. It's just it was lacking compared to the first one. Again, John M. Chu, Ariana Grande, and Cynthia Erivo killed it in this one. So did Jonathan Bailey. I forgot who else is in the movie really, but yeah. So it's a 3 out of 5 for both me and Byrne. I still recommend it for the theaters, especially if you liked last year's and you're a fan of the play and whatnot. So for those of you who did happen to catch it this weekend, feel free to let us know what you thought of it in the comments and maybe what your favorite aspect of it was or what you think it could have been used. Either way, we keep the conversation going. Also, just since Thanksgiving is upon us, I just want to say again, I'm thankful for all of you who subscribed and tuned in, to all our episodes. We really do appreciate it. And just have a great Thanksgiving, however you spend it with family, friends, whatever works. Just thank you all for everything, really.
Oh yeah, definitely. Thanks to all you guys who tune in to our episodes. We really do appreciate it. Even though we we're just a couple of guys, we're just a couple of silly geese in here.
We're a couple of movie nerds, so yeah, keep showing us the love. We appreciate you all for it. And as always, until next time, stay bodacious and keep on ranting for us.
Absolutely, everybody. Be good, be safe, and as always, we'll catch y'all on the next one.